The difference now in dating and why there's like a loneliness epidemic for men is that women don't really need men anymore because they're not really providing. They're not really serving any of her anything like emotions, connection. When it comes to hobbies and stuff, they're not interested in women's hobbies, not interested in women in general. And what has happened is that basically men have opted themselves out of dating. They have opted themselves out because they are not interested in converse. They don't know how to converse with women. They don't know how to talk to them. They don't know how to have a conversation, how to stimulate her in a way that's going to make her feel good about herself, because they don't even understand women. They want women to operate like men, but give them all the benefits of being like feminine. They want a soft place to land. They want her to have those emotions for them. They want women to put in all of the effort and work to learn everything about him and join into his hobbies and just like be obsessed with him. Also give them physical affection. Also take care of the house. Also work a big girl job. And what is he giving back? Because if you ask for too much when it comes to money, you become a gold digger. If you expect too much emotional connection, he's unavailable with that. He wasn't raised like that. He wasn't prepared for that. That's not what he brings to the table. What does he bring to the table then? What is he actually bringing to the table? The difference between how it is now and how it used to be is that nothing has changed on the side of like the expectations of men and like what they want and value from a relationship. What has changed is that there was an expectation that if you wanted those things out of women, if you wanted a physical relationship, if you wanted that emotional connection, you had to take care of her. That was not an option. That was, you are going to. Men didn't get to, as much as they didn't want to get married, it was not an option. It was understood by all older parties in them. If you really want the benefits of this girl, of having her love, you're going to step up and do the right thing. And now there's no expectation of that. And so men want to play games all day long and act like marriage is the scariest thing in the world and like act like it's such an inconvenience to be in a long-term relationship, but want all of the benefits of being in a long-term relationship. And my dad put it to me this way. He said, men can be with Miss Right Now forever. And that really spoke to me. Men can be with Miss Right Now forever. They can cruise and cruise and cruise. My grandpa said it in the way where he said, why would he marry you if he's already playing married? And it's the truth. And women know it, and you get stuck because you feel in love, you feel all these things, and then it doesn't work out, and you go, what am I doing? Why are we playing games? We're doing what it would be. Why can't it just be that? And men don't want to step up to that plate. So women are opting out. Women are checking out, and they're like, fine, I'll be alone. Because I pay the bills anyways, I gotta go to my big girl job. I have friends that give me affection, affirmation, all of that kind of stuff. And at the end of the day, like physical connection, not that hard to find dudes that want to sleep with you. Hence why we have situationships happening. That's fine. Girls will find guys to sleep with. That ain't hard. But that's all the effort that they're going to put into. And so now we have a loneliness epidemic because men are not being loved anymore. Because loving a man requires putting so much energy into it and getting virtually nothing out of it. And women are kind of done with that. They're kind of over it. You made your bed, lie in it.
But your big girl job be a receptionist, and y'all be acting like y'all got it like that. Men are not. You just said it in there. Even if a man takes accountability for 50%, can you take 50% accountability for allowing these men to do these types of things, for staying in a relationship with this type of man, for giving this man more than 2 or 3 months of your time? Can you take accountability for that? No. Why would you do that? Because it's supposed to be all on a man. It's all a man's fault.
I keep seeing those videos where girls are posting their Hinge and it's like a man who's 42 and he wants a short-term relationship. Here's my thoughts on this. I actually don't think those people are in the wrong. Even if I don't agree with that lifestyle, here's the thing. They're being honest. You can't hate on the honesty. The men you have to watch out for are the ones who act like they want marriage when their actions clearly show otherwise. Those are the men that are wasting your time. If you choose to go after a man who's saying he doesn't want a serious relationship, that's on you. Beware of the ones who are like, no, I want a family, I want to settle down, I don't like dating around. And then that's like clearly not the case. The honest ones are fine. The liars, I think we need to ship them all to an island. Let them think about what they've done. Anyways, I don't like dating apps. That's all.
I might ruffle some feathers, but oh well. Kevin Samuels was right about a lot of you. Majority of you, and I ain't gonna explain it. Figure it out.
In relationships, your personality is not enough. I don't care how mad you guys get at me, but if I'm not attracted to you, you're a friend. You're a friend. You're nothing more. I'm not gonna date someone who's ugly to me. I'm not gonna go and date someone who I find unattractive. Although you could be a great person, phenomenal human being. I would love to be your friend. I would love to be your friend. It doesn't mean I don't like you as a person. It just means I'm not gonna date you because I'm not gonna date someone who I don't find attractive. If I am not sexually or physically attracted to you in any way, shape, or form, why would I date you? Why would I do that? You guys would probably say the same. I understand that your personality can make you way more attractive to people, but it's not enough. It's not enough. It can only make you so much more attractive. And second of all, why would you want to have a child with someone you don't find attractive? Why would you want to start a family with someone you don't find attractive? Just because you don't find them attractive doesn't mean you have to get rid of the person. You can still have great relationships with them, but they don't have to be, like a sexual, physical relationship. So yes, looks matter so much more than you think. Your personality is not enough.
Which is fine, but a lot of modern women use this to talk about the 6-pack, 6 figures, 6 feet. And that's ridiculous.
This is another thing too, like when men are like, oh, I want you to be independent. I don't want you to rely on me, be strong. Okay, I'll do that. But now you don't have a say in my life. You don't get my respect. I now have to work full time. I don't have the energy to be with you constantly. My mind is going to be elsewhere thinking about work. Don't expect me to be submissive to you when I'm submitting to another man at work. Like a lot of men will go 50-50 or want the woman to work and then wonder why they don't get the same respect that a man who fully provides for his wife or girlfriend gets. And you can honestly tell the difference because the women that I follow that are like fully provided for and are stay-at-home moms and get to be home with their kids and don't have to go out and work like a dog, their hair doesn't look like mine. They look like they're full of life. Their hair's done, their makeup's done. They look well taken care of. And then I look at the women who are going 50-50 or single women or women that are like with men that don't pour into them. And it's like very different.
I mean, that's one way to see it, but my mom worked for a major oil and gas company for 30 to 40 years, making good money in the 80s and the 90s, and she already had her college degree. Worked for the job, went back to school, came back out, worked for the job again, had her own house, her own car, still submit to my dad, still support my dad to this day. You guys just don't have the stomach to be in a partnership, in a relationship, and that's why a lot of men aren't even going to put up with it.
Okay, sue me for being old-fashioned, but I think for the first date, the only thing that you should have to communicate to the man is what time you're free. And I think that from there, he can give you a few options, but I think that from there, that's all it should be. And from there, he should pick the place, maybe give you a few options if he's not sure. He should pick the place and situate everything. I'm not saying that everyone needs to Uber you back and forth. Like that man who did that for me, that was very special. And he wants me to be in my feminine energy and it's working. Because honestly, I don't think he would normally be my type, but the effort that he's putting in is making him really attractive. I love that. The date I was supposed to have tonight, I ended up canceling because he wanted to meet halfway for drinks, and that already turned me off. If it's just drinks, you're gonna make me seriously drive outside of the city in rush hour traffic to go get drinks. I don't know. And I understand not everything needs to be a 5-course like dinner. Like, it doesn't need to be real fancy. I get it's a first date, but like, I don't know, that turned me off. But anyway, I was like, I'll give it a shot. I don't want to be such a princess. But then I was like, it says 50 minutes with rush hour traffic. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, is there somewhere else that we could pick? Because it's not like he had a reservation. I did ask if he did because I didn't want to be disrespectful. If he had a reservation, I would have gone. But he did not make a reservation. It was just for drinks. And then he was like, well, I guess like I could drive to you. And I was like, that would make things like a lot easier. Like, would you be willing to do that? He's like, yeah, but there has to be parking. So I sent him this place in the Seaport, Chickadee, that has parking. They have a parking lot. This is Boston. There's no parking lot. And the fact that you're making me think about like where you can park, like once you get here, like, I'm sorry. I know, again, traditional. I don't want to have to think about you. I spend hundreds of dollars to get my hair done. All of my hair products are hundreds of dollars. It takes me so much time. I washed my hair yesterday. I planned my workout around this. I worked from home today so that I would have time. Like, so many different factors. And this man couldn't figure out like where he wanted to go, what the traffic would be like, and what parking situations are. I don't know. I'm ranting, but I think that men need to put in a little bit more effort. That's it.
You know, for people who run their mouths on TikTok all day, when it comes to dating, they sure do get quiet. They tell ChatGPT all of the things that they want. I'm looking for this. Give me a prompt for that. ChatGPT does what? Tries to give it to you to the best of its ability. But when it comes to a man, y'all expect a man to guess. No information, no nothing. I just expect to just tell me where to be. Open your mouth and tell me what your preferences are. I don't know you.
I do believe that when chaos unfolds or when there's an emergency, everybody knows who the man is. Like when things are nice and you know that the finances are well, economy's going good, people have their jobs or whatever. Like when things are well, then there's a space to try to be theoretical or philosophical and say, oh, what really is a woman or not? But I'm like, when it's chaos and there's war, everybody's looking to the man and being like, y'all need to man up.
Yeah.
Like I think about this. If there's something goes wrong in a family, God forbid, maybe there's a financial challenge or something happens to a child or whatever. Like people are going to look like, where's the father? Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, where's the father? And then even if it's a single mother, there's going to be more empathy. Like, oh, single mother, the dad should have been around, and she's just doing the best that she can. But if it's a single father, it's like, oh well, he should have. But I'm like, I feel like when it comes to responsibilities, and this is just my theory, when it comes to the responsibilities, when it comes to emergencies, like the things that are needed to keep a thing going, no one ever questions the role of the man. It's always assumed that the man is supposed to be there. When it's war, we're not going to be asking who the men are. What's a woman? What's a man? Like, you're going to be like, if you're a man, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe with the gender law, things might be changing, but I could definitely see biological women resisting that and being like, no,
yeah.
I should
hiding. No, really. That's actually what my essay is about. It's
95% of all women in today's world are stuck in survival mode because feminist movement's amazing for a lot of things. Yes, we get to work. Yes, we get to have equal rights. Yes. There's still a lot of work to do. And we are still in this very gray area right now where women have stepped into a man's world and said, hey, we can too. And so now men are really having to learn, oh, I've got to actually shift into this new dynamic as well to create equality in the home. And it's not like 50-50, but finding what works for you as partners. And it's hard. We're all learning how to be in this brand new dynamic where women are playing both roles, masculine and feminine, and we're damn good at it too, right? And now men are learning how to be in their healthy feminine and healthy masculine as well.
The reason why women are no longer behaving traditionally is because men are no longer behaving traditionally. Y'all aren't behaving traditionally either. And traditionally,
she right. They not behaving traditionally because of us. It's our fault. We're the ones telling them to be naked online. We're the ones telling them to be emotionally unavailable and argumentative. We're the ones telling young women to start OF pages. We are the ones telling them that they don't need no man. Oh, wait. That's women telling women those things. If you're not naturally feminine or you aren't naturally masculine, then that's a skill issue, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with me or her. She talking about she's becoming less feminine because she has to work. That's like me saying I'm becoming less masculine because I gotta cook my own food. I gotta do my own laundry, so I'm becoming less masculine. Like, no, that's not how that works. You're a grown adult living on your own who's single. Of course, who the hell's gonna pay your bills? You're single. Are you saying you want to go back to what it was like back in the day where you would just live with your parents until you were wedded off? Is that what you're referring to? There are men out here who has zero issue, having a stay-at-home wife. None whatsoever. I'm one of them. But it's not like you go on a date and then randomly you become a stay-at-home wife. No. She's talking about on dates, she be thinking about other things because she got bills, so she's not all the way there. She's talking about she be cussing at the dude and stuff like that. If that's what comes naturally to you, that's cool. But someone that wants to be a traditional housewife, that's a natural thing that comes naturally. How the hell you blaming men for being masculine? You ain't even got a man. What?
There's some things in life that I just wonder about, and this is one of them. Way back when Magic Johnson had announced to us that he was HIV positive, there was a lot of wondering, a lot of speculation, and I'm sure all of us probably felt the same way. What's Cookie going to do? His wife. When he announced it, and over time, we seen what she, in fact, was going to do. She ended up staying with him, and then the years passed, and that was just it. A couple years back, I watched an Oprah interview on Own with Cookie, and she described the situation. She described their marriage, and basically what she said was because of all the love that she had for him as a person, because he was a really good person, and all the faith she had in God, she just told the story, and she said, that's what made her decide to stay with him throughout the HIV status and everything that he had to do, and he had to call all the women that he had slept with, and there had been so many women over some time. And then today I just happened to be scrolling through and I seen this old video of Cookie where she was telling this story, and she was saying that ultimately through their relationship, I guess before the marriage, they had went together and they were kind of off and on. And lots of times they would just break up and wouldn't be together, and then they would get back together. And this one particular time, she said that they had got back together from a breakup, and he took her to his mom's house, and she said she got along with his mom and his sisters really well. So when he left, it wasn't no big deal. She just thought he was going somewhere and he would be back. Well, in fact, he came back with a little boy named Andre. And she said she looked at him and she looked at Andre and she thought, wow, they look alike. And then he announced to her and the rest of the family that this is Andre, this is my son. So then it cut to Magic's part, and he was like, so I slept with this lady and I didn't think nothing would become of it. I didn't know she had gotten pregnant. And over time, I finally found out that Andre was my son. And the first thing I told Cookie was, I'm going to be a father to Andre and be in his life always. And that's it. Now, when we watched the Own interview with Cookie, I'm like anybody else. I love a good love story where there's faith involved and people believe in God and people know the character of a person. So that's why they stay. So I just took the story as she told it, and I just took it. When I talked to my mom, the first thing my mom said was, girl, it's the money and the lifestyle. That's what made her stay. So I didn't know about that, like at that time, because I was thinking, I had some, some iffy kind of thoughts about that, because my thought was naturally, well, if she would have got a divorce from him, she would have had the money and the lifestyle still. She wouldn't have been with him, but she still would have had the money and the lifestyle. But I don't know. What I will say after watching today's video, I was just sitting here randomly thinking about it. I don't know if maybe I just don't know that kind of, whatever that is, that strength maybe we'll call it. But Cookie, girl, you tough. The HIV status, all the women, just the lifestyle period, and then the son and all of that. Cookie, you tough.
By the time he made that announcement, he was an all-star at that point in time. So it's not like she had to guess whether he had potential or not. He was already doing it. A woman in the comments said she took it because of the fame and money. She stayed because she thought he'd be dead by now. So she was going to take everything that he had and just run with it. Another person said if she divorced him, she would have had the money, but never the access to the power and influence without Magic. He's the star. Without him, she wouldn't be anywhere near as influential in the Black community. He is the door opener. She knew this. A lot of times these modern women like to say, oh, I can't leave because situations and stuff is just so bad for me. No, she could have left, but she didn't want to because she was looking for him to open a lot of those doors.
I wish the girlies knew that there's a difference between chemistry and compatibility, and one of them will ruin your life if you are not careful. Chemistry is vibes, right? Butterflies. I told y'all before that it's not butterflies and it's actually anxiety, but that's another post for another day. It's the cute late night combos. Oh, I thought of this song and it reminded me of him. Romanticizing the whole thing. It's intoxicating even, right? But compatibility, it is not. Compatibility, it is not. Chemistry can be compatibility, but compatibility is not always just chemistry. It's shared values, communication, trust, consistent action. Positive action that you're able to see, not words coming out of their mouth. Are we following? Nervous system, safety, emotional regulation, okay? Those are the good things. You know what's even crazier? Is that you can have chemistry with someone that is not even kind. You can have chemistry with someone who's not even nice. They don't even like you.
You know what's even crazier? They don't care. They gonna know that man has a million red flags from a mile away. And because he's nice looking and handsome, I thought I could change him.
If you are in the place where a man is asking you to pay 50% for things, I would like for you to share this video with the men in your life and give them an idea of the hidden costs of dating for women. I'll start. First, we have the cost of birth control. Usually this responsibility falls on the woman. Birth control pills, if you don't have insurance, it's going to run you $40 a month. If you are showering, shaving, washing your hair, we have what's called the pink tax. This means that anything that is made for a woman that's a soap, razor, shampoo, it's going to cost significantly more than the $3 Suave that your man can buy from the store. If you are wanting to date a woman that looks nice, we have costs that you can't see. For example, the bras that go under our clothing. I encourage you as a man to go bra shopping. Just go to Victoria's Secret, go to Nordstrom's, go to Macy's. You're looking at a minimum, if your woman is gifted in that department, a cost of $20 to $100 just for one bra. And you can't live with just one bra. You need like 2 or 3 minimum. And then if you want us to look in the bedroom, it's significantly more for the pretty and lacy stuff that you guys like. It's very expensive. Now let's talk about just looking nice, basic maintenance. You're looking at $50 every 2 weeks for a manicure, plus that same amount for a pedicure if you live in Southern California, not including a tip. Haircuts. Haircuts have gotten insanely expensive these days. You can pay anywhere from $25 from something that you will deeply regret from Supercuts to $60 at a more modest salon to maybe $80. That's just for the haircut, which you'll be expected to do every 2 months or so to maintain your hair looking nice. Then if you color your hair, so anybody who's blonde, there's very rarely any natural blondes left. If a woman is an adult and a blonde, it's not natural. She's paying for it, okay? You're looking at probably, if you live in SoCal, $200 to $400 every 6 weeks to every 2 months to have that beautiful, wonderful blonde hair. If you're going on a date, you have the cost of the special outfits for a date if a man wants you to go to a special event. Women, you know, we change sizes frequently. Our bodies change. You want to stay current. You want something fashionable. You want something appropriate. So if you're going to be a wedding guest, go to a play, go on a boat, go to a club, you need the nice outfit. And men can wear one pair of shoes that goes with 15 different things, but women usually need a special pair of shoes that actually go with the dress, then the handbag that goes with the dress. So, and then jewelry. So you're looking at least a couple $100 if we're being modest, just to give you that razzle dazzle when you take us places. Now let's get into makeup, okay? You can't dress fancy from here down and not also look fancy from here up. You have to look fancy all the way through because that's how being a woman works. So you've got $10 to $25 that you're spending on mascara every 2 to 3 months, plus $10 to $50 on foundation, powder, blush, lipstick. So you're looking at a good couple $100 investment just to buy very basic cosmetics to look polished and to look finished and to look nice. And if it's much nicer makeup, it's going to cost more. And then skincare, if you want us to look youthful and not have wrinkles, Botox is expensive. Dermatologists are expensive. Anything that helps your skin look as soft and pretty as possible, it's going to be a couple $100 a month. So minimum, just to look good, we're talking about some pretty major expenses. So like hundreds of dollars that we have to incur every single month, even if we're just looking super basic, super duper basic, just to buy a nice bra so our chest doesn't hurt, and just to have a haircut so we don't look homely, and just to have like a razor blade that works in our curves. It's very expensive. So why do you feel that you're entitled to ask us to split the bill on a $50 tab? I'd love to know. Thanks.
So a woman in the comments said, I was trying to see your point, but you're talking about daily maintenance and you're trying to say it's a man's problem. And this is why men call women gold diggers. Another woman said, if my date picks me up in a Bentley, I don't assume that he would expect me to pay 50-50 for his car payment. I know. I mean, it's common sense, but I guess for some of these modern women, common sense isn't so common.
3 days later.
I didn't expect so many people to get so fired up about the topic of women having a preference or a standard that men should treat women to nice things on dates. There are a lot of people who commented and made very broad and negative comments, derogatory comments, both men and women making comments about women, that if a woman is proactively seeking out a man that can treat her to nice things, that it must mean that she is vain or shallow or a gold digger. And I would argue that if you are making very broad assumptions about an entire gender and just jumping to negative conclusions and saying it's about money, it's really not about money. It's about you needing to look within yourself about why you are having this anger and resentment towards any woman having a standard or a preference. We all have standards and we all have preferences. We're all entitled to have them. You may like someone with blonde hair. You may like a guy who drives a Porsche. You may have a preference for someone who has an old pickup truck and wears beat up cowboy boots. You may find that extremely attractive. These are preferences, and there are standards that you can have, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with having those preferences and those standards, because it helps us narrow things down and find people who are right for us. And when we have a positive outlook towards the idea of money and treating a relationship as an investment. So you could treat a relationship as an investment without it being financial investing, okay? They say that you can look a lot at where your life may head in the future by the people in your life who are closest to you.
Cool it down. It was 20 people, max. All these people, no, 20 people max. You said something silly and people were holding you accountable for it. Next clip.
Okay, so boom, you're at the dealership about to get a car. You're gonna buy used. You test drive the car, it drives smooth. No warning lights, everything's good. The price is good, it looks good, it's clean, it smells good. Okay, so I want this car. You decide to buy it, you commit. You put your money into it, you invest in the car. 2 months later, you start driving the car and the engine start going crazy. The brakes go out. You're like, what is going on? It's only been 2 months. This is not the car I just test drove. This car was not doing all of this. Now, imagine you telling somebody all the issues you having with this car you just got. And they said, well, you should have chose a better car. How? Everything was fine. I test drove it. I did everything I was supposed to do. The car was fine. And now, out of nowhere, it just switched up and it's giving me trouble. That's exactly how men sound when women say they go through stuff with men and then they say, oh, you should have chose a better man. You really think that I chose this man that he has become? You really think that? Just like with the car, the dealership sold you a dream. So many men sell women dreams. They know how to prey on women because we operate from our heart. We're nurturers. We want love. We dream of this when we're little. So some men know how to play the game with that. So they sell you a dream and act like y'all going to be this, this, and that. And then when he done with selling a dream and he get whatever he wanted from you, the real him comes out. Now time has passed. Y'all may have had kids. Y'all may have invested in business. Y'all may have bought a house. Y'all may have done a lot of things that couples do in long periods of time. And guess what? That is not your fault that this person switched up on you. So when people say, oh, guess what? You should have chose better. Guess what? When something goes wrong and you thought that you had a good product, you thought you had a good car, you thought you had a good person, and it switches up, it's not your fault.
Majestic in the comments said, 5 mile-ish women buy brand new, fellas. Oh my goodness.
This is why so many men feel criticized in marriage. Check this out.
I completely demasculated him. Nothing he did was ever good enough for me. I wanted it done my way. I wanted him to do it my way. Essentially, I wanted him to be me, but in a male version. I was like, look, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. It's very clear.
So what this woman is acknowledging is what we call moralizing preferences. She had a certain thought process or standard on how certain things should be done or handled within the relationship, and she made it right, and thus she made him wrong. So let me give you some examples. There's no right way to load the dishwasher. There's not a right way to handle your finances. There's not even a right way to parent. Now, obviously, there's certain boundaries, like we're not going to abuse the kids, but there's lots of different methods of parenting that you could potentially choose from. So why do women so often make their way right and make their spouse wrong? Because we moralize our preferences. We assume that because this is what makes sense to me, this is what should obviously make sense to you. And we need to have a huge shift here where we recognize that we're not necessarily right, we're just different. Let me give you an example. You may have an individual who says, while I'm cooking, I want to be cleaning up the pots and pans and putting the spices away actively while I'm cooking, so the cleanup is done immediately. Next person might say, I want to cook, it'll be a big mess. The minute we're done with dinner, I will clean up the kitchen. The third person might say, we're going to have a great big old dinner, and in the morning, I will wake up, do the dishes, and clean up the whole kitchen. None of them are wrong. These are just different preferences, but we tend to think, well, the way that I want things done is better than your way, so I am right and you are wrong. And I'm not saying that sometimes men don't do this, but man, is this a theme among women especially, who really want their husbands to do things their way. Then you have a man feeling insanely disrespected, belittled, and criticized. So we need to come to the table differently and instead say, hey, here's my thoughts and here's why I like it. How would you like to do this? And we become an equal partnership of opinion, because your preference is not better just because it's yours. It's just different.
Let's not forget here, Eve was made for Adam. Adam was not made for Eve. Eve was made from Adam's rib for him because he was missing something. He had an emptiness. Eve wasn't missing anything. Eve wasn't empty. Eve filled an emptiness that a man had. So the next time you're like, oh my God, I need him. No, you don't, okay? Men need women. Women do not need men.
This is the level of delusion that women will go to. She literally was created from him. She came from him. What are you talking about?
They found that attractive women, the most attractive women who are rated on their attractiveness, got approached less than unattractive women who didn't signal enough.
Fascinating.
So if you're an attractive woman and you don't signal enough, you won't be approached.
Do you have to approach more based on how objectively attractive you are?
You have to be available more. Sometimes I think we use attractiveness as an excuse. I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not this enough. No. Actually, some unattractive women who signaled availability got approached more.
Wow.
And so availability actually makes you more attractive. When you think about your hair, your outfit, how you look, how you smell, all those things are great, but they will not work if you do not know the body language signals of availability.
Imagine that. Isn't that a shocker? Act like you want people to be around you, take off the RBF, and maybe, just maybe, you'll get somebody that is interested.
My biggest deck, and I've said this so many times, is when women are rude to people they deem socially beneath them. So you're a social media sensation. You got all these followers. If you're rude to some random girl because she's not as pretty as you and doesn't have as many followers as you, I'm like instantly like the most turned off. Or like I went on a date with a lawyer once. I went on a date with a lawyer once. Stunning, gorgeous, makes a ton of money. And a lawyer too, like holy f.
Well, yeah, it's like
And she talked down to the waitress at the restaurant. And I was just like,
That's a no-no.
well, it's just like we were getting bad service. I get it. Cool, great. Not the end of the world. Like we have decent company. And this was not like a first date. It was like a second or a third.
Not gonna lie, if I talk to anybody and y'all ain't doing nothing for me, no contributing, nothing, no nothing, like literally nothing to nothing, there's literally no point of me talking to you. That's why I couldn't, because it's like, I've been doing this by myself when I was single, so it's like, you're here for what? What is your purpose? Because we're not gonna sit up here and talk all day long. I know that much.
Listen, it's only two ways this thing works. It's only two ways that this works. Either you step up as a man and create a space in an environment for where a woman's femininity can thrive, where you can get the submission that you want so bad and crave for, or you let her pay 50-50 and do half of the work and basically be in her masculine and get the man that you asking for. It's just that simple. It's really just that simple. I don't know why y'all acting like it's just so hard when you're paying bills, when you're opening doors, when you're pulling out chairs, when you're being a man and a gentleman, the women will show up. She will thrive. When you make that environment where she can thrive, she will show. It's just that simple.
You guys can be so close-minded to how relationships actually function. Why don't y'all stop looking for ways to be a problem to the people that you say that you love?
Gotta be careful what you say, especially if you f with this. I'm serious. You gotta be careful what you say, because it'll be one word, one thing, one conversation you say, and then you demote it, and he won't change a look on his face. He won't make a wince. He'll look you straight in your eye and demote your mother.
Done it.
Yeah, real talk.
You know, I think one of the worst things that has ever happened to relationships is the fact that men are not gentlemen anymore. And if you are not a believer that, you know, a man sets the precedent for a relationship, then this video is not for you. And we are not alike, which is a-okay, because there are a million different people, million different kinds of people, and all kinds of kinds, right? But men set the precedent for a relationship. And so a woman will give to you and build up what you give to her. So these men that aren't gentlemen, they're not walking on the side of, you know, the street side of a woman when they're going out. They are calling her atrocious names. Like, they're just not being gentlemen. They're not showering her with gifts. They're not making her feel special. But then everyone's expected for, like, these stinky boys is right, huh? Yeah. But these women are expected. They're just now expected to take on not only the feminine role, but also the masculine role. And it's like, no. Let a woman be a woman. Make a man be a man. Make him be a man. Let a woman be a woman. That's all it is. All it is.
Okay, here's a story about what I think is slightly delusional men. Let me know what you think. So I was out with my friend a few weeks ago. We're both single and we are both very chatty. So we meet these two guys, and I'm 37, so they were definitely older than me. I thought about 50, but I asked one of them and he said he was 45, so I went with it. And I asked if he had children, and he said no. And I said, oh, do you want them? Because I do establish that quite early. And he said, yeah. And I just came out of my mouth, oh, you better hurry up then. And he just kind of like rolled his eyes. And his friend, who I was assuming is the same age, went, he's got 20 years left yet. Sorry, what? Yeah, because loads of 32-year-old women are queuing up to have a baby with a man who's 59. Who is teaching these men that they've got until their 60s? Who? I do not know anyone, none of my female friends are looking at men and wanting to start a family with men in their 50s and 60s. None. I said you better hurry up because I meant it. You know, he's 45, they were quite middle class, so I'm going to assume they want to date for a while, live together for a while, get engaged, get married. You know, you're looking at up to 50 years before they start trying for a baby. You have not got 20 years, sir. Let's be for real.
Okay, so yesterday I texted this boy. I said, are you taking me to dinner later? Right? He responds, Tasia, I will set something up. He said, clearly you think I'm at home with no plans. And then he put LOL. But the LOL was trying to soften the blow because there was actually nothing funny about the conversation. And that response was like real nasty and rude. So I responded, I said, I didn't assume anything. I asked you a question. You could have responded by saying, hey, I have plans tonight. Or, hey, tonight's not good, but we could set something up for next week. So the tone was very like, girl, relax. I'm going to set something up because clearly you think I'm at home. I didn't think anything. I asked a question. All you had to do was answer it, which in fact you did not. You made some nasty slick comment. So I later responded and I said, there's no need to set anything up. I'm okay. Don't set anything up.
Don't set anything down. Don't late. Like, I'm cool. I'm so cool. I'm cold. I'm ice cold, baby. And he was like, you're being dramatic. I'm not being dramatic. It is okay. It is okay. You have made it clear to me. You have made it clear to me. You do not have to worry about me. Sorry that you thought that I was assuming that you're sitting at home with no plans. Please enjoy all of your plans. Thank you.
Was this a text message or a FaceTime chat? Because sometimes over text message, things get lost in translation. So maybe you should have actually had a FaceTime chat or somebody communicated with somebody and said, hey, I did not mean to be rude. This is the way I meant it. You're going to do that in relationships over and over again. Trust me. Y'all looking for something, you're never going to find it with this type of attitude.
This message is just for the ladies. If you're a guy, just keep scrolling. Do not get married. Do not. If you want partnership, that's fine. If you want to be in a commitment, that is fine. If you want to have children, that's fantastic. Do not get married. It's a trap. All of it's a trap. It is byproduct of a little boy who never had to work for his mother's affection, and therefore he grows up believing that he is deserving of everything that you try to give him in order to get a little bit of that validation back that he gave you in the beginning of the courting phase or the dating phase. Yeah, it never lasts. Do not get married. If you want a diamond ring, ladies, go and buy one for yourself. Your time here on earth is intended for you to channel and to connect to higher consciousness through your divine feminine presence. If you get married, then you end up having all of that attention diverted into taking care of other people aside from yourself. That's the intention behind it, is to get you to not understand and remember why you came into this earth as a divine, superior, feminine being. Patriarchy is dying. The ladies are waking up.
Woman, get help soon. Get help fast. Get help now.
Okay, here's a story about what I think is slightly delusional men. Let me know what you think. So I was out with my friend a few weeks ago. We're both single and we are both very chatty. So we meet these two guys and I'm 37, so they were definitely older than me. I thought about 50, but I asked one of them and he said he was 45, so I went with it. And I asked if he had children and he said no. And I said, oh, do you want them? Because I do establish that quite early. And he said, yeah. And I just came out of my mouth. Oh, you better hurry up then. And he just kind of like rolled his eyes. And his friend, who I was assuming is the same age, went, he's got 20 years left yet. Sorry, what? Yeah, because loads of 32-year-old women are queuing up to have a baby with a man who's 59. Who is teaching these men that they've got until their 60s? Who? I do not know anyone, none of my female friends are looking at men and wanting to start a family with men in their 50s and 60s. None. I said you better hurry up because I meant it. I know he's 45, they were quite middle class, so I'm going to assume they want to date for a while, live together for a while, get engaged, get married. You're looking at up to 50 years before they start trying for a baby. You have not got 20 years there. Let's be for real.